Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to DudeIWatchedThat.com's continuing coverage of Sundance 2021, and we're with Joe Cappa, director of Ghost Dogs, which is an animation spotlight. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for talking with me.
Thanks for talking with me. This is one that's kind of been stuck on my mind since Fantastic Fest, and I'm glad it popped up again and I can get a chance to speak to you about it.
That's cool. So you uh, you streamed into like Alamo Draft House, watched a lot of those.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Sorry if there's like a
They're
long.
frozen on my end. I can't see.
Oh,
Okay, now you're back.
yeah. You were frozen on my end too. That's weird.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess. God bless video editing.
Okay.
um, but yeah, I did stream it. Yeah, they had that shorts program. Um, I remember a lot of the stuff that they pick is very out there, but I do remember yours being like particularly a highlight, and it's one that I'd been thinking about a lot. I'm glad I get to talk to you about it.
Cool.
Yeah. So to start, I saw that in your video that you made for the festival that you pointed out that you've been designing these kind of uh, not really anamorphic, but kind of somewhat human-like dogs for many years now. Um, what was it in particular that kind of lit your fuse, made you want to structure a proper narrative around it?
Um, yeah, so I do traditional like 2D stop motion animation, which is like a camera that faces down on my desk, and I've got construction paper with like limbs cut out and make them move. And then I got myself a tablet, which allowed me to draw. That's my dog lapping up water, if you can hear that.
I can.
But I got a tablet so that I could draw straight to the computer. And that was like the first thing that I test animated as a character was some ghost dogs. And I just made them like crawling around.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that was it. I just was like, okay, I mean, I can make a movie out of this. Of course, like, when you have an idea, it's just not as intense of a project when you start as it is when you like finish it. So I was just like, I will like, I'll storyboard this out. This will be fun. I can like animate it in 5 months or something, and it ended up taking like over 2 years. But I think that was it. It was just, I knew there could be a fun story, and I love the setting of a house. And I thought to create a vibe in the house, just a mood, was like really important to me. So that's kind of like the basis for making the whole thing.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I might as well point out, very, very, almost not really convenient, but interesting how on both ends, dogs interrupting. Very, very thematically fitting. Yeah. Um, uh, so your background, from what I can tell, correct me if I'm wrong, is like in terms of film specifically, is a lot of commission stuff, right? Like for ads and music videos and whatnot. So how's it like kind of shifting into a more self-guided process? Like, did it allow you to kind of bring in these ideas that were less traditional or fitting the norm?
Yeah. I've been really blessed to work with like people who just ask me to make a music video and kind of give me creative license. So I feel like I haven't like had that experience where I just like had a really terrible client.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been able to like kind of play around with things that have gotten me to Ghost Dogs with other music videos and stuff. I just love making stuff creepy and kind of comedic and a little lighthearted too. That's kind of like my main drive in making stuff. And making the leap to make Ghost Dogs was a big one just financially, and like just, I mean, it defined my days for many days to come. So it was a big leap. Obviously, like I just feel like it's like it paid off in a big way, and I'm like, I'm so glad I did it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like even if I didn't get into Sundance, I'm very happy that I took on this project and started on this journey, because I really like taught myself animation from this. I mean, Ghost Dogs was like, it was just a way for me to learn frame by frame drawing.
Mhm.
And now I feel like really confident in my ability to do it. So I'm just like eager to work on the next thing.
Yeah, that's cool. Did you always kind of know that this was gonna be the thing that you go to then when you make that jump?
I knew I wanted to, because I come from like a filmmaking background. I was like a cinematographer, still am. But it's like I just wanted to tell a story, and animating allows me to, tell a story on my own terms. I don't have to rely on a bunch of people, and I can make the idea as grandiose as I want, with like no budget really.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I'm lost my train of thought again. It's
Yeah.
kind of early for me. But yeah, I love animating, and the fact that like I finished my first music video animating like years ago,
Mhm.
and I didn't get burned down on it, and it was like a 24 frame per second cartoon. I knew that like I loved doing this, and I kept wanting to do it.
It's cool. Yeah, and besides really some voice actors and uh, you had a writing partner, this was kind of a lot of it was you. You did the editing, you directed it, you animated it. Do you think that like I don't know how I wrote that down when I was watching it yesterday. I don't know how I was going to phrase it into a question, but yeah. Did that kind of change your um approach at all?
The fact that I had so many.
Like you, yeah, like you knew you were gonna edit it together. You
Yeah.
knew that you were gonna kind of take the pieces that you made. Did that kind of at all change the way that you did it, or maybe change your process? If that makes sense. We can skip that one. Like
Yeah, I mean, because I'm just like new. No, that's cool. I animations and like other animations that are in Sundance,
yeah,
and at Fantastic Fest, and I see like a huge team of people that made the thing,
yeah,
and like I don't know, because I'm such a small potatoes kind of guy.
yeah,
I just It blows my mind that there's so much organization. I mean, that's like an art, just to organize so many people together to bring an idea to life. And to me, it's just like I have to do it. Like I don't know any other animators. I don't know anybody I can rely on. My music guy was very crucial. Music was such a big part of it, and I knew a guy who could do it because I couldn't do music. But everything else, I was like, yeah, I could edit, direct, write, animate it. I have to.
yeah,
It's my idea.
yeah.
I
It's cool.
feel like I don't know. I don't. I just only trust myself.
That's fair. Speaking of which, I was reading the credits. Is it like a family member of yours or your brother or something that did the score?
Nick Poss did the
Or no,
score.
somebody. Sorry, not the score. It was.
Yeah,
I saw
my
another
brother.
Kappa.
Yes, my brother Dave did the coloring,
Right.
and Dave he's like a creative partner. He's been a very fun brainstorming partner for years and years and years. And he actually just moved out to England a couple of years ago. So to work on Ghost Dogs, it was just me sending him files and then him coloring them and sending them back to me.
That's cool. Yeah.
Mhm.
It was definitely like a very, very vivid color palette. I think it really like complements the tone. So it worked out well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did want to ask about the score because it kind of does a big thing at setting the tone. I know you've mentioned that you did want this to be inherently or at least like subtly comedic, but the score does a really good job at kind of bringing in that horror tone into it. Did you know it was always going to be something like that? Did you know that you wanted that to kind of set the
Yeah.
atmosphere and whatnot?
I I shot movies for this other director, Mickey Reese,
Yeah,
he's been into Fantastic Fest a couple of times, and he's an Oklahoma City guy. And Nick Poss would make his music, still makes his music. And so I knew Nick, and I was like, Nick, I would love to do, this kind of sound that you had in Strike Your Mistress, which is Mickey's movie, and I would like this music that he did in Alien, which is another Mickey movie. So he was able, I knew what he could do, and I knew what I wanted from him, and then he gave it to me, and it like exceeded my expectations and like what I wanted. I knew I wanted like dissonant, weird sounds, but man, he just like boosted the production of this cartoon like to another level. Because like you can make like a really, really good cartoon or movie, and if the music just doesn't sound like a real orchestra or something, it'll sound like it's like a Hallmark movie or something. It'll just like, it just really cheapens the movie. And so he like really brought it to that level, and I'm so thankful for it.
Yeah, that's awesome. What else did I want to ask about? So I usually love asking this type of question, but I want to especially here because there's pieces of it. There's pieces here that kind of feel familiar, but when it's assembled, it forms something so unique. I wanted to know if you had like any very specific reference points. Like I felt like I might have seen some Mike Judge in the TV ad, the dog food. I don't know if I was right there on that.
Yeah, totally. I've like done a few interviews, and I feel like I always bring up Mike Judge sometime in the interview. So I'm glad you see that. Mike Judge is a huge influence on me.
Yeah.
So definitely those vibes. We wanted the whole movie to have a texture that felt like it was weird cartoon that you just like missed somehow growing up. And then like your friend tells you like, oh, you've never seen Ghost Dogs? Like, oh yeah, it was this weird cartoon. Then you watch it, like, oh man, this movie's crazy. It's just some like weird late night movie. You're like, when was this made? Who made this? That kind of thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know exactly the type of feeling you're talking about, and I feel like I I have vivid memory of that type of thing, just can't name what.
Right.
I think you do. You replicate that pretty well. So I wanted to ask, this is, as you can tell, the questions are kind of getting gradually stupider. But I've noticed that vacuum robots in cinema is a theme that's been quite potent in 2020. Do you have any like very specific vacuum robot frustrations that made you kind of want to bring that in as a plot device?
No, it's just having a dog. It's just seeing how they're kind of scared of a Roomba. Like if there's one adversary in a house to a dog, it's a Roomba. So a Roomba just seemed like a funny character to add in. I mean, like when I was storyboarding this thing, it's like I didn't know the story at all, really. I mean, I kind of knew that I wanted ghost dogs in a house, and that was pretty much it. I really didn't even know who the protagonist was.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would just kind of draw frame or like shot by shot, like what I wanted. And I think it was Dave, my brother, who like was like, it'd be funny if you had a Roomba in there. And then it's just funny how a story can grow just from that. And so the Roomba like really took on a central character figure by the end of the thing.
Yeah, that's funny. I also wanted to ask about the balancing of the tone, because again, this is horror, but I know you want to kind of make it inherently comic, and I know there's a lot of things that might throw people off, like the overt sexuality of it all. And I kind of wanted to ask how you sort of balance the tone and made sure that it was a little bit of each element you wanted to bring it towards the end.
Yeah, that was like really important. Tone was like so huge. Yeah, I mean, like again, my style is comedy and kind of creepiness, and so I think it lends to horror. I just I don't know. I had a friend tell me when he watched the movie, he was just like, it's just such a roller coaster of like true emotions for him. Like he was like really experiencing dread and then laughing, and that's like the best compliment I could ever get. Yeah, I mean, I love movies like that. I love any horror movie where I'm like surprisingly finding myself like literally laughing out loud. And I was just like, I just wouldn't expect it. It's just such a funny release of tension when there's comedic things happening in a movie. So I like love movies like that. I was just trying to make a movie similar to that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And by the time it kind of reaches its um, kind of mind bending psychedelic kind of ending, you also that roller coaster kind of continues. How did that element of it come about? Is that something you've wanted? Is it have you like wanted to use that cinematic technique for a while, whatnot?
Yeah, yeah. I, I find like usually when I'm brainstorming ideas, I usually want to do like a it's like it's just an homage to like the experimental age of cinema that's still going on. Like you just kind of like always want to push the boundaries of things, and it's a little campy, but still a cool experience. I mean, when I Ghost Dogs, I wanted to get into film festivals. I had this dream of it being on a big screen at film festivals and people in a theater watching it. So that was a big driving force behind like knowing how people were going to watch this thing. So it's like, I wanted the comedic elements, and I definitely wanted like a psychedelic sequence where you're like moving through something as if it was like an IMAX movie or something like that.
Yeah.
So I definitely wanted to have that experience.
I I had that exact thought when I was watching it. Like, I wish I could have seen this on a huge screen, perhaps even an IMAX one. Is that something you're considering doing in the future? Perhaps something that's like um, feature length, something that would be like mainly experienced on the big screen.
That would be cool. Sundance. So Sundance has been amazing.
Mhm.
Like, have cared for the directors so much. But like one of the things is they gave all the directors like Oculus headsets 3 days, because I just got it like 3 days ago. Like I would love to do something immersive, something that felt analog but virtual at the same time. So that's like literally what I've been thinking about the last 3 days is like, what could I do that would be like a really immersive experience for people? Yeah, I love that stuff. I don't do like psychedelic drugs or anything like that
Yeah,
because I'm too scared. So this is my
I'm the same.
safe way of making this stuff for myself.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And you still are playing in the theater in Tulsa?
Yeah,
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 that's pretty
yeah.
cool.
Sundance partnered up with a lot of. I didn't know if you wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, yeah, we could, but yeah, that is cool. I imagine as part of like I think it's playing before what I saw was a heavy drama, so I wonder how
Oh, I
the
know.
audience will perceive it.
I
Um,
don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, that's kind of funny. Um, I think is that all I wrote down? Um, I think it might be. But yeah, thank you so much for making the time for this. And yeah, I do want to wrap up though by saying, like, kind of asking if post Sundance, do you have a kind of distribution plan in mind in case people miss this at the fest? Are you going to play at more fests? Kind of self-distributing? Do you have a plan in mind?
Um, yeah, this is our first foray into this stuff, so we just kind of want to see what's out there. We've been hit up by distributors like in Europe. That's cool. We definitely want to do like festivals though. We definitely just want to have a festival experience by the end of this. So hopefully things get better and there'll be like some cool outdoor screenings or something for some bigger film festivals. But we definitely want to play it through the end of the year.
Mhm.
Um, and then I don't know, distribution, make another Ghost Dogs, make a Ghost Dog show. We're all about it. That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
I would totally watch a Ghost Dog show. Um, Perfectly complement whatever the Beavis and Butthead reboot that's happening this
Yeah,
year,
exactly.
perfectly side by side. But yeah, thanks again for making time for this. I love
Yeah,
this movie. Our team loves this movie. So I'm glad we can kind of plug it right before the festival happens so people know to look out for it.